there's real life, and then there's the Retina display. It's time for Hello and welcome to Ajazz Tech. I'm your host, Alex Zarnowski. I'd like to remind you that Ajazz Tech is part of Ajazz Networks. Please be sure to visit AjazzNetworks.com for all of our latest shows and blogs, including Cinema Clash, The Salinor Show, and Internet Amazings. It's been one very long week for me. I pre-ordered my iPad on March 7th and had been waiting for my new iPad to arrive for an eternity. But I'm holding it right now and using it as I speak to you, and man is this screen gorgeous. Its 2048 by 1536 resolution thankfully makes this the best looking display I've ever seen, and I can't get over how crisp everything is. In comparison, you can definitely see the individual pixels on the original iPad, and the colors are definitely more vibrant on the new iPad. I'll say it again, you have to see it to believe it. Moving on to the size, it's virtually the same size as the iPad 2 except for its depth because of its larger battery, and that only makes it slightly heavier. It's way lighter than the original iPad, so no complaints in that department. The speed. The new iPad is blazingly fast given its A5X dual-core CPU quad-core GPU processor. Pages in Safari render much faster, and loading large PDF documents doesn't cause it to crash like it did on my original iPad. Remember, this thing is optimized for graphics, and having a faster CPU isn't necessary. I'll have to say that the camera is very capable minus the grain from the ISO, but you can't expect SLR quality. The 1080p video is stable as heck and extremely nice to look at on the Retina display. Now, I can import these videos into Avid and cut video on the fly. Now to the important stuff, gaming. It tears through the frames in Nvidia Blade 2, which was recently updated for the graphics in the new iPad. Also, Real Racing 2 just received an update. Games like Mass Effect 3 and Dead Space will be seeing future updates as soon as developers release them. I won't go on any more about the new iPad except to say that it was worth the upgrade for somebody who previously owned the original iPad with only 256 megabytes of RAM. I'm truly enjoying the 1 gigabyte. Okay, it's new iPad launch day and you're looking for a few good apps to test out the new hardware. What didn't you already have that will make your new iPad experience worth it? Grab a few games such as Nvidia Blade 2 and Real Racing if you want to see newer graphics, and Rage HD, Dead Space, and Asphalt 6 if you want to see graphics that were comparable to the iPad 2. If you don't own an Apple TV but have a Mac, grab yourself Reflection. It lets you wirelessly mirror your iOS device onto your Mac's screen. Simply plug your Mac into a TV and voila, you have yourself some iOS action on the big screen. Reflection can be found on reflectionapp.com for $14.99. Apple is making the big push with iPhoto for iOS, given the new 5-megapixel camera, but you can also grab Photoshop Touch or Laminar. I recently picked up Laminar for $1, so get it while it's still $1. Each of these apps have their limitations, so read up, but they are excellent photo editors that will get your feet wet. Now, don't forget, the new iPad can shoot in 1080p. That makes it a good device for shooting or producing video, so you might want to grab something like iMovie, Avid, Filmic Pro, DV Prompter, Mega Recorder, or SyncSlate. The Mac platform is filled with wonderful ideas from very creative developers. I recently came across an app that continues in the Mac tradition of innovating an already great piece of hardware. The app is called Flutter. iTunes controls require you to either use your keyboard or mouse to play and pause songs. With Flutter running in the background, all I simply have to do is raise my palm to the screen and it will play or pause music. I even tried to fool it by using my fist. No go. I opened my fist and my music played. I then closed my fist and reopened my fist and the music paused. It's a really handy function if you are taking an important phone call or are 6 feet away from your computer. Nvidia will soon be launching the GTX 680 to compete with the AMD Radeon HD 7970, and the specs are out. Notably, it will consume less power at 195 watts, which might be from a 28nm build process, 2 GB of 256-bit GDDR5 RAM, and will be clocked at 1006 MHz. However, it will employ a speed increase to 1058 MHz if it needs the extra horsepower. You can also expect dual DVI and HDMI out, PCI Express 3, and 6+6-pin power connectors. The price? Let's figure around $500 or more. Finally, Samsung is considering using Android-based digital cameras. It would be a first, but would it be a welcome addition to a point-and-shoot? I say yes, and here's why. Given an app marketplace and a streamlined area for defined camera apps, you'd be able to virtually use any app you'd want to take photos or shoot video. Of course, these apps would have to be optimized for the hardware. But wouldn't that be a good thing? Most of the time, the standard interface on a point-and-shoot camera is heavily optimized for the optic system in the camera and its capabilities. If there is a feature that is missing that you seem to think is possible, you're out of luck. But adding an open interface should give it some leeway if it's done right. I think it's a huge opportunity to open up point-and-shoot cameras to a slew of developers willing to make a great camera even better by adding specific or requested features like social apps or Dropbox for instant storage. Well, that's all for this episode of Ajazz Tech. Got Stitcher? We're on it, so get it. Stitcher is an award-winning provider of news talk and radio for your mobile phone. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio. You can find all of our podcasts, including Cinema Clash and The Salinger Show, at ajazznetworks.com. Follow me at twitter.com/ajazztech and search for my name on Google+. You can email me at ajazztech@gmail.com. You can find this show and more at Ajazz Networks. Originally different media for your personal taste.